Hello and welcome, you not yet. We're going to review linear equations here. Now what I want you to do, you should have a blank test. I want you to pause this, and before you even watch this, I want you to do the first page all by yourself. Stop the video, do the first page, then turn it on and check your answers to the first page. Fixed. All right, hit play, here we go. The first problem is graphing, so what we need to do is put it in slope-intercept form. I subtracted 3x, then I divided by 4, divide both parts by 4, and that gives me negative 3/4 x plus 3. This is the slope, this is the y-intercept, so I start at 3, I go down 3 over 4, and draw my line. This one is saying that the y is fixed at 4, the x could be anything, so it has a constant height of 4, straight across horizontal line. By the way, this has a slope of 0, not no slope, 0, not undefined, 0. Here we're trying to find the slope if we have 2 points. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Negative 3 minus 7. Be careful, you do 5 minus a negative 3, which actually means you're plussing a positive 3, which gives you negative 10 over 8, and then reduce that fraction to be negative 5/4. This one, same thing. When you do it, make sure you're minus a negative. We change that to add the opposite. We get negative 5. But in the bottom, we get 0. And anything divided by 0 is always undefined. This one, we have an equation. I'm trying to find the slope from an equation, so I need to put it into slope-intercept form. We'll subtract 6x from both sides. That gives me 18y equals negative 6x plus 36. Then divide by 18. Divide the 18 into both parts right here. And then I just need to simplify. This becomes 1/3 and this becomes 2. So the slope is this negative 1/3. I say this slope is negative 1/3. The equation y minus 3 equals 0. I add 3 to both sides, and then my equation is y equals 3. So it has a fixed height of 3. So it's going to look like this. And these lines have a slope of 0, not 3. Parallel to this line. This means I need to put this into slope-intercept form, so I'll subtract 3x from both sides. I get y equals negative 3x plus 21. This is the m, so here's my slope. It's parallel to this one, so it's the exact same as this slope. The next one is perpendicular. Same thing, I put it in slope-intercept form, subtract 3x, divide by 2. I end up with this is the equation of that line. Its slope is negative 3 over 2. I know perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite sign reciprocals, so my line must have a slope that is 2 over 3 and positive because it's the opposite sign reciprocal. Okay, now pause the video, try page 2 by yourself, and then start it to see the answers after you've finished. Here's page 2. We have a slope and we have an intercept. We're trying to put it into standard form. So first we write it in slope-intercept form. Y equals 1/2 x minus 6. That's slope-intercept form. But to change it to standard form, I want ax plus by equals c. I want no fractions or decimals. I want x and y on the same side. And I want the x term to be positive. Those are the 3 important things about standard form. So we'll subtract 1/2 x, bring it over here. So now I got x and y on the same side together. I don't want 1/2, so I can multiply everything by 2. That would get rid of the fraction. That gives me negative x plus 2, y equals negative 12. And I don't want x to be negative, so I can multiply that by negative 1 and give me positive x. So now I've got x and y on the same side, no fractions or decimals. X term comes first, or x term is positive. A horizontal line through this point. So where is that point? Negative 3, or 3, negative 5 is right here. Here's a horizontal line. That's the equation that y is equal to negative 5. There's no x in there. It just has a height, a constant of negative 5. X could be all the way big or all the way small. Number 14, it goes through these points. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Make sure when you have a negative divided by negative that is positive 1/2. Then I'll use this slope in the equation here so that y is 3 equals mx plus b. Then I multiply these, which is just 5 over 2. And then I need to add this to the other side, so 3 over 1 plus 5 over 2. I change the 3 over 1 to get a common denominator. I change that to 6 over 2. 6 over 2 plus 5 over 2 is 11 over 2. Now I have an m, I have a b. I write them into slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And then I need to change this to standard form. I don't like having fractions, so we multiply by 2. Multiply everything by 2. I want x and y on the same side, so I'll subtract the x over here. But I don't want it negative, so I'll multiply by a negative 1 everything. Here's my equation in standard form. Number 15. It is parallel to this line, so that means I need to find the slope on this line and use the same slope. If I put it in slope-intercept form, I see that the slope on this line is negative 4. My line is parallel, so I'll use the exact same slope. And I've got my y, my m, my x, and I find b. Multiply, that gives me negative 8. Add 8 to both sides. Here's 17. Now I have an m, I have a b. I write my equation, y equals mx plus b. But it's not standard form, so let's add 4x over here. 4x plus y is 17. Pause the video now and try page 3 all by yourself. See if you can do it, then turn it on to check. Page 3, action. We're going through perpendicular to this line here. So I need to find the slope on this line. I'll put it in slope-intercept form. If I subtract 4x from both sides, that moves it over here. So the slope of this red line is negative 4. My line is perpendicular to it, so I have to take the opposite sign reciprocal slope of negative 4. So my slope will be positive 1/4. Now I have my x and my y, so y equals mx plus b. And I'm trying to find b now in my line that has the slope that's the opposite sign reciprocal of that slope. When I multiply these, that gives me 2, and I subtract it to this side, that gives me 14. So I have my m, I have my b, I write my equation, y equals mx plus b. I don't like fractions, we'll multiply by 4, multiply everything by 4. I don't want x over here, I want it over here, so I'll subtract x. It gives me negative x on this side, but I want it to be positive, so we'll multiply by negative 1. That's 1x minus 4y minus 56. There's my standard form. Number 17. We're going through these points, so we're going to use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, when you're minus a negative, it's really adding the opposite, so that's negative 1. So it's negative 2 divided by negative 1 is positive 2. So my slope is positive 2. So now I'm going to use the positive slope. I'm going to use the slope of 2. My line is parallel to it. So I want to use the exact same slope. But I want to use this point here, not those points, because my line is not going through those points. My line is going through these points. So here's my y. Here's my m. Here's my x. Just close the door for a second. And I need to find b. So I've got 10 times 2, which is 20. I'll subtract that from 3 and get negative 17. So now I have my m, I have my b. I put them into the equation, y equals mx plus b. Oh, it's not in standard form. I need to subtract the 2x over here. And now I don't want it negative, I want it positive, so we'll multiply by negative 1. 2x minus y equals 17. Moving on, number 18. We've got an x-intercept and a y-intercept, so that gives me this point for my x-intercept and this point for my y-intercept. I can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 and get a slope of 3/10. If I only had a y-intercept, I could write the equation. Oh, lucky me, they told me the y-intercept was 3. So it's y equals 3/10 x plus 3. I don't want tenths, so I can multiply it by 10. And that gives me this. Oh, I want x and y on the same side, so I can subtract it over here, but I don't want it negative, so I multiply by negative 1, and that changes, changes all the signs to give me standard form. Last problem here on this page, be very careful. We have this point, 0, 12, and it's a vertical line that goes through it. So a vertical line is this green line that's going through the point 0, 12. Well, this has an undefined slope, but the equation is x equals something, and where is the x always? It's at 0. The y can go all the way up, the y can go all the way down, but x is equal to 0. Pause the video and try the last 2 graphs on the 4th page. And here we go on page number 4. Y equals mx plus b, let's divide by 4. So we divide this by 4 and that by 4, which gives me y equals 3 over 2x plus 2. This is my y-intercept. I start there. This is my slope. I'm going up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2, up 3 over 2. There's my line. Last problem, it's going through this point, negative 5, 2. And it's an undefined slope. Undefined is straight up and down vertical. There's my graph. Hopefully this will help you to do better as you do your retake. Have a great day.